Moving on, why intermittent fasting is overrated for fat loss. This is a hot topic and it's been for years and I don't know why. But intermittent fasting is not superior for fat loss. Intermittent fasting is a tool in the box. It's an option. Okay, a lot of people harp on about the autophagy of a calorie deficit. Of intermittent fasting. But I jumped ahead there. But the calorie deficit is the thing that creates the autophagy. It creates the same autophagy than intermittent fasting. So, where's the real benefit? If you want to intermittent fast, you can do it if it helps with your adherence, if it helps with you sticking to calories, if it helps with you if it helps with you not binging on your calories and stuff like that. That's cool. All right, but just understand that there's no magic to it. There's no unicorn. There's no special science to it. All you're literally doing is like prolonging the time that you're eating, and you're condensing the amount of time that you're eating and you're prolonging the time that you're not eating. So your fasting is longer, but your eating is in a more condensed window. And when you look at it like that, if you're eating for less time throughout the day, let's say from midday to 8 p.m., as opposed to eating throughout the entire day, you're probably going to lose some weight if that is your goal, because you're literally eating for less time throughout the day. I'm trying to make it sound really simple because it is when you break it down. But let's say you have a condensed window, but you eat just as many calories. If you eat 3,000 calories between 12 p.m. and 8 p.m., it's the same as having 3,000 calories throughout the day between 6 a.m. and 8 p.m. Okay? 3,000 calories is 3,000 calories. It's kind of like if you were to, leave a hose on to fill up a swimming pool, and you left it from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m., and then you left it from 12 p.m. to 8 p.m., but it was on like a faster, like there was more water coming up between 12 to 8 p.m. and it ended up filling the pool at the same level, then you're going to have like the same, like the pool's still the same size. You've filled it up. It's just taken a different amount of time. And that's kind of how you want to look at intermittent fasting. If you wake up and breakfast always screws you up, you just grab a chocolate croissant and you're like, oh, damn it. You put butter on it. Oh, damn it. Oh, I'm going to go to Starbucks and have my, frappuccino with caramel sauce, chocolate sprinkles and whipped cream with my chocolate croissant with butter all over it. And that's like 500 or 600 calories. If you don't do that, if you skipped that meal, you would save yourself 500 to 600 calories. So then people go, when they do intermittent fasting, they start skipping breakfast and start eating between 12 and 8 p.m., which is the most common protocol that people use, which is what I knew it as the lean gains protocol. When people did that, they started losing weight. So it was like, intermittent fasting is the thing that made me lose fat, because when I started fasting, I lost weight. But when you really break it down, it wasn't intermittent fasting. It was the fact that you're consuming less calories, therefore you created a larger calorie deficit or a calorie deficit in general, and you started losing weight. So I want to highlight this because even with my clients that have access to all the education in the world that I know, once again, 8 years of personal training, they're still like, hey Brock, like I'm getting frustrated. I'm not losing weight and I'm intermittent fasting. And then I'm like, hey, like we've talked about this, or like, hey, it's not special. Hey, it's not magical. Hey, we just need to create this calorie deficit. So maybe you can bump your steps up, or maybe you can, do some recipe swaps or some food swaps to reduce your calories, or you could even try shortening your intermittent fasting window. So you, instead of eating from 12 to 8 p.m., maybe you eat from 12 to 6 p.m. That might help as well. Whatever way you create the calorie deficit, that's cool. Just create it. And that can look different for many people. And that's why intermittent fasting can work for some people. For some people, intermittent fasting works for them for fat loss. So they do lose body fat because them skipping that breakfast meal really helps them out. For me, it just makes me starving, mate. And then I get to lunchtime and I'm a ravenous horse and I just eat as much as I can. And I probably overeat what I potentially would have eaten if I just had breakfast. I find myself more controlled and more composed. when I'm consistently eating. If I don't, ask my wife, ask my friends and family. If I'm hungry, I'm just not the best person to be around. That could be me being a sook, but I literally need a lot of calories. I have a high metabolic rate, high level of physical activity, high level of like brain output in terms of like the amount of work that I do in a day. So I need the calories. And when I don't have them, my energy dips and I'm not the best person to be around. So personally, intermittent fasting doesn't work for me. It makes me more frustrated. Some people claim that they're more clear-minded. I find myself to be more frustrated and thinking about food more often. So it's very personable. It's very individual. So just go with what works for you. Intermittent fasting can be great. It can also be a waste of time. And there's no magical fairy that blesses you when you're doing intermittent fasting to make you lose fat faster. It's just the fact that it may help you create a calorie deficit, okay? But I like to create it throughout a just constant, regular eating, just creating a calorie deficit through that, and that works fine for me and most of my clients. So there we go. Intermittent fasting is overrated.